The following podcast is sponsored by author-editor Talina Winters. Talina has just released her book, The Undine's Tear, which is book one of the Rise of the Grigori trilogy. It is a young adult setting which has a very interesting take on mermaids and mermen, which are called Undines. You can find this book on Amazon, Kobo, and all available book platforms, or you can get more information on TalinaWinters.com or through her social media channels at Talina Winters. And by Adam Dries. Adam's latest release, 5 Critical Things for Successful Book Science, is available now on Amazon, Kobo, and all other places you can get books electronically, and the physical release will be May 30th at Owlsnest Books at 7 p.m. Be there. Welcome everyone to episode 263 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantellaresco. I write stuff and podcasts too. Today, my guest was part one of my 2-part conversation with actor-producer Morgan Leblanc. Morgan's a cool dude, man. I really enjoyed this conversation. We had a talk. Morgan's the kind of guy I definitely have a beer with. Like, he's down to earth and just, like, you know, he chases his dreams. And there's a lot I really admire about him. I really thoroughly enjoyed the conversation we had. He's a great dude, and I'm really happy for him, and I wish him nothing but continued success. But first, we got to do a couple of housekeeping before we get there. And number one, I want to welcome my new sponsor for the month, Talina Winters. She's one of 2 new sponsors. The next sponsor will be revealed on the next podcast, part 2. But Talina was a heck of an author. I looked forward to the conversation we had. That's going to be next week, actually. My conversation with Talina. She was great. She was amazing. Awesome human being, and I'm going to be giving away her book, The Undine's Tear, this week. But speaking of giveaways, I was under the weather last week, and a lot of things happened. I'm going to be talking about some of these things at the end of the podcast. But long story short, I don't feel I did the contest any real justice, so I'm putting back up 49 Parallels, edited by Hayden Trenholm, as the last of Bondaren Press, and 5 Critical Things for Successful Book Signings by Adam Dries is also up, so put your email in the mailing list on the link below, or check my link on Facebook. Just add your email and you'll get a copy of the book. It'll be great. All right, let's get to our conversation with Morgan now, shall we? It's on.
Okay.
So anything incriminating you'd like to say, make it good.
Okay, make it worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have to entertain the masses. You know, it's just how it works. No, so here's the challenge, like with what we're doing, like by me and podcast, you and film. We are actually a product, but the challenge we're making, especially in Canada, for whatever reason, Canada doesn't see the same value in this that, say, the U.S. does. In the U.S., right, product placement, things of that nature, it's easier because everybody sees the business side of that there easier than they do here. Here, it's like, oh, who's going to watch it? And this, and no, it's not about that. It's getting as many different eyeballs on your product that fit your niches as possible. I'm a podcast that does authors primarily, but also I do actors, I've done comedians, pro wrestlers, politicians. Like, I've had a variety of guests. So, for me, it makes sense that everything I'm promoting, right, would feature the niche I've acquired. So my challenge personally is, okay, what's my niche? Books. I'm trying to encourage people to read, right? So that's what I'm doing, and I have no bones about that. You, as an actor, you want people to go watch your movies or your television series, or if you're behind the camera, which I don't know if that's your aspirations down the road, wouldn't shock me. You want people to be invested in your product, and your product comes from your head. And honestly, in this day and age, we live in the age of intellectual property. That is the real money today. That is the absolute.
100%.
Right. So that's it. Like, we are all going for the same thing. So the challenge is not so much that you have a viable product. You do. It's getting people to recognize the vision of what your product actually is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your? Yeah. Okay. I got yes. So let's. So you do sponsorships, like you've been trying to get sponsors with your films and stuff like that. So what are the things you face in your challenges? No naming names, of course.
Well, just seem to face the challenge of legitimacy, I think. Like, some people, they kind of are like, oh, that's cute, you're making a film. You're like, no. Like, this is a real film. This is going to be on, certain streamers. We want it to be on Netflix. We want it to be on Crave. Like, those certain things. But people, when you talk to them, they're like, okay. And maybe it's my own issue where I don't maybe go to the right vendors, maybe, where maybe I shoot too low or I shoot too high, whereas whereas some, and a lot of it is just finding the right business-minded people that understand what you're trying to do, and they understand the value of getting more eyes in a different area, maybe that they're not normally promoting or touching at all, right? So.
No, I get you. So I have a fun story. I said this on the podcast before. So I had a roommate, and he brought a girl he was going to spend the night with over. She goes, well, what do you do? I go, I'm a writer. Oh, you're a writer. So that's the initial reaction, right? And then a little later on down the road, I show her my books, because I actually have physical books. Oh my God, you're a writer. What did you...
Yeah.
It's like, what did you think I was?
Well, and it's the same for acting. Like, you say to people, "Oh, I'm an actor." They go, "Oh, that's cool. That's neat." And I've even been in relationships where that I'm an actor. Oh, okay.
I think
I'm dating a homeless guy.
yeah. Except the reality is, I think personally, I've hit this point. If I go, I'm a writer / podcaster, and they're going, "Oh, that's nice," I'm not dating you. I've already made that decision. It's like, that's your response? No.
Yeah. True, and you kind of have to gauge their response with your level of commitment as well. Like, oh, okay, so you're not.
Well, because I just it tells me kind of where their headspace is. Like, for like, if your headspace says you're not taking me seriously here now, you're not going to take me seriously with anything else I'm doing. No. So why should I take you seriously?
For sure. And then as you grow your audience or whatever, then all of a sudden they realize, oh, this is legitimate. Yeah.
Well, and it's like kind of late now. Now I think this is just a business sense. I have what I call now a resentment meter in my business acumen. So if the more integrity you show me, the more I respect you, and the more I'm going to be kind and generous with you, because that you're showing me that you care, and then you're showing me that you're serious. The less feeling I get that you're taking me seriously, the less feeling I get that you're honest with me, right? I add those charges to your bill. And that's how I'm serious. I do. I really do. Because I realized something, like, you can't teach self-worth. Right? And you can't teach it. And the people that treat you like that, generally speaking, don't have enough self-worth on their own. And
that's true.
And so from a psychological point of view, I'm not here to fix your problem, but I'm going to make you respect me one way or the other. So if you're not going to respect me the way you should respect me, you're paying for it. You like that? You like that?
I'm in my head. I'm like, oh, I really missed a market of just cashing in on disrespect. My God.
Yeah. Well, no, just use it to your advantage, right? It makes it. No, I mean, it doesn't matter what art you're in, but you're all like. Ultimately, yeah, you're selling your art, but you're also selling, to some degree, you're selling yourself, because you're the product. If the person doesn't respect you, right? I just realized, like, those are the people you charge through the schnoz, because you don't really want to deal with them anyway.
No, you overprice them, and they go, "No, thank you, thank God."
Yeah, exactly. And if they do pay you, well, thank God, because you're paid.
Yeah.
It makes it. I realize this. Like, that's how you have to fight for everything you get in this world. And I've learned that a long time ago. Like, anything that you want to go for something with actual worth, you got to fight for it. Well,
because nothing worth it is easy.
No, absolutely. All right, so What are you worth? What is your credibility worth? What is your efforts worth to you? And then how can you make a buck doing it? Because honestly, that's business. You have a service, you have a product, you have to believe in your product. If you don't, why are you out here? So let's figure out how to capitalize on it. And again, and the more disrespect you face, the more you charge those people. Because I realize that like that's the thing. Right? You don't want to be around people that won't respect you. And the way you filter them out really quickly is money. And if they do want to pay for, or if they do respect you, and and you know this from film, the more money they spend, the more likely it's going to get made. That's just how it works in film. So you make them pay through the schnoz, you're going to get what you want. It's a weird world. It really is. But
it is weird. I'm from a small town, and so I don't necessarily understand blind disrespect. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Like, I don't know someone. That doesn't mean I'm going to respect you, but I'm not going to disrespect you. You know?
Yeah, there's no judgment one way or the other.
Yeah, and living in like moving to a big city is, well, big city, Edmonton's not that big, but coming from a small town, it's like a weird experience because you see all these people, you meet all these people, and you don't understand like their resentment towards someone they don't even know, or you know, the way they talk to a stranger, and you go, why would you talk? You don't even know that guy. Why would you talk to that guy that way? But then that kind of spills over into art as well. Whereas you meet people and they're kind of, oh yeah, that guy makes crap or whatever. And you go, what do you mean? Like they're okay. So now you're expressing your jealousy because you're not doing it, but now you're talking bad about someone that is doing it. And so it's very strange.
People that talk bad about other people. And I should rephrase it. If I make a definitive statement about somebody, it's like, personally speaking, I wouldn't do business with that person, right? That's one thing. That's a personal experience. That's my own conclusions just based on my resume, like by my history with that person. That's one thing. But I would never go to somebody, this person's a piece of shit. Because that's actually a reflection on me, not them.
For sure it is. It's an automatic, oh, wow, this guy's outspoken about how negative someone else is. Well, what did they say about me when they leave?
Exactly. No, you bury yourself in front of everybody else trying to make them look good. Whereas if you were like, okay, this was my experience. This is why I feel this way. Okay, that's different. You're making a
justified.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, like
different statement.
Yeah, it's a completely. That's why I'm very careful about that. I mean, I've certainly made mistakes about this in the past. I mean, you're also like the other big thing about a city too is we live in a world where again, if I don't know you personally, it's easier for me not to treat you like a person.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you come to a city, you meet thousands upon thousands. Like seriously, you have a cluster of thousands of people you interact with on a daily basis, whether you realize it or not. Right? Whether you go to the grocery, whether you go to the grocery store, whether you go to work. Yeah, just driving. But how many of these people do you actually know? If you're lucky, now this is irony. Talk about irony. Maybe half a dozen, maybe a dozen if you're absolutely lucky. Okay, so the only people that you should justifiably give the bird to on the road is maybe the dozen people you actually know. Because then I mean they're your friends. If you can't pick on them, I mean who can't you pick on, right?
Okay, for sure. The other thing, too, that I notice is a lot of people are quick to be judgmental of other people, even though you have no idea how they've gotten to where they are today. Cuts you off. Okay, well, maybe that vehicle has a pregnant lady in it, and they're speeding to the hospital, which, okay, is not safe. But it's so, like, oh, my God, they're wearing that? Well, yeah, you have no idea what that person's about. You have no idea what that person's been through. It's like judging the guy at the gym that is barely lifting tens. Well, he might be at the end of his workout. You don't know. You don't know what that person, where that person has been up to this point. So don't. Oh, that guy cut me off. Yeah, well, he's far more urgent than you at the moment. That doesn't mean that anyone is more or less important, but you just have no idea. So don't pass judgment on someone you have zero idea where they've gone.
Well, or where they've been or where they're going. Like, right? Because we all walk our own paths. Like we all have our own places we're going, and it just so happens, like in my case with you, we're passing each other by because it's just like you're on your way to becoming, a big time actor, rock star, whatever your ultimate goal is, right? And I'm hey, dude, I'll tell you something. One thing we will come from this conversation. There's no such thing as an unattainable goal. It's just all about problems. It's all about problems to be solved. That's it. Right.
Well, and it's also about setting attainable goals so that you can look back and go, okay, I achieved that, I achieved that, I achieved that. If you just say, I'm going to be on the cover of the Rolling Stone, okay, well, that might take you 10 years.
Well, sure. It might take you 10 years. But you know what? That you could bet that's the end goal. Right. How do I get there? Right?
Well, yeah. Set goals along the way to say, okay, well, I want to be on the cover of a magazine, or I want to be in a magazine. Oh, I want to be on a TV show. Okay, I want 5 lines on a TV show. Okay, I want to be featured in a show. I want to be,
it's a process.
To me, it's a process. But if you set goals where you can feel good about achieving them along the way, it helps versus saying, I need to be in a movie with Bradley Cooper. Okay, well, if that's my goal today, yes, great. But until that goal happens, I don't have any little triumphs because I haven't set myself up for little triumphs. You know what I mean?
No, you have to have You have to have little triumphs too, like little things, like my goal today. Like my goal today, when I'm done talking to you, is to finish my final draft, like the final draft of my book that's about to be released in about a couple weeks. Like just doing the last minute changes. That's a little goal. Then the next goal will be to release the book, which will be a bigger goal. And then hopefully sell books, which is another goal. And then you just keep building upon that. And then work on my next book, which is almost ready to go too. And keep it's about momentum. It's about keeping the momentum going with what you're doing. Right?
It's also about eliminating the resistance.
Yes. So eliminate resistance. Elaborate.
Like I have lots where I'm. Well, just like resistance is an evil thing, and there's just days where you're like, I have to do all this work, but I kind of would rather just watch hockey. Yeah, but I should probably do all this work that I know that is going to pay dividends or, create an opportunity or, and it's just about overcoming yourself to me for lots of work, right? Like I have a day job, right? And it's easy to go, well, I could work this day job. Like, sure I could. I see these other people and they have, great lives and all this stuff, and it's like, wow, but that doesn't overcoming the resistance of easy living, say, of, oh yeah, this is really easy, I have a pension, great, fantastic, that doesn't fulfill me, so I have to denounce resistance and do what fulfills me so that I can, keep moving forward and keep achieving those goals.
So I'm gonna throw a word at you. Comfort. Is that like a big form of resistance to you?
Oh, comfort is everyone's resistance, in my opinion. It's as easy as trying sushi. Well, I only recently tried sushi for the first time in 5 years. It's delicious. But if you're uncomfortable with the idea of trying raw fish, you won't do that. And so many people get so comfortable in their daily lives, it's as easy as trying a different bar. Well, everybody knows my name here at this bar. Okay, well, you're not growing. And to me, in comfort is lack of personal growth, because you're like, this is easy. I like this. These people like me. They're my friends. Blah 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 blah. I don't need to meet new people. Why? I know these 6 people. I can do this job for 50 years. Well, yeah, comfort is a big thing, and art to me is the space outside of comfort zones, because you start to push boundaries, your own or other people's, to just wake up and say, yeah, I want to try that. That's cool. I've always wanted to, and I never have. Well, stepping outside of your comfort zone is the space between I want to try that and doing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And also and as a quote friend of mine once said, that's where actually the real magic happens with people. Because that's when you discover things about yourself you did not know. Right?
Well, 100%. The longer you sit in comfort, the less you'll know about yourself.
Exactly. And then one day you'll wake up and go, what did I do with my life? Yeah. What made you decide to go down the acting path?
Depression.
Really?
Yeah, when I was younger, I was very into art, but I had a father that was like doesn't support it. You know, no, you have to be a trade person. You know, and then you figure that out after, blah blah blah. And so I did that. I made some bad decisions along the way, whatever. I did that, and I realized I'm so unhappy doing this, and then I feel so unfulfilled. It got so bad that I couldn't watch movies because I would feel like destroyed inside. Like, I can do that. I could make that happen. I could be on the camera. I could act in these things. It would bother me. So there was like 3 years of my life I didn't watch anything, nothing. And then I just woke up and was like, what am I doing? And I was in that retirement job, you know, great pay, 24 years old. I was like a foreman, you know, and I was like, this is it. I've reached the top of this life.
That's depressing.
Now I just put my seatbelt on and wait 30 years, and then what? Right? And so, and then I moved south to Alberta to say, okay, I'm gonna give this an honest try, and maybe I'll move further west or further south. But yeah, it was depression. I could just feel this inside me that, hey, you're not doing what you're meant to do, or you didn't even try. Like, you didn't even try. Like, it was like an awful feeling of regret. Like, geez, I should have. At least I will. If I don't make it and I fail, at least I can say, you know what, I tried, I did everything that I could to fulfill this, and it didn't work out. You know, great. At least I don't have to live with that. But I don't even think about it like that anymore. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it, and I'm happy at the progression, and it makes me feel fulfilled. I provide jobs for people, and I still have a full-time job. You know, so it was really just depression that really. Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, you'll get to the point where I'm at. It's now I'm at my job part-time, not full-time anymore. And So I nicknamed my day job the Sparkle Muffin off a friend of mine in Canada, because here's the thing. I've described my day job essentially as a drunken hot mess. So I have a friend of mine. She does a video game series called Lady Bits. Talks about the world of women in video games. Really fascinating stuff. So she also like does some improv, right? And so she played a Princess Toadstool like character called Princess Sparkle Muffin, and she also played the evil queen or the evil villain. And both of them eventually get drunk. And Sparkle Muffin is a hot mess when she's drunk. Like, she's just the way she is. And I was thinking to myself, so when I look at my day, this actually makes handling my day job really easy for me now. I don't take it seriously anymore. I just say sparkle, sparkle, and I just move on. Because none of the problems there matter to me anymore. Because I'm at that point. Yeah, exactly. Nothing. So I look at the fact that my podcast is growing, my creative stuff is growing. I'm starting to reach more out of an audience. My focus should be primarily that. I still need a day job, but I'm putting myself in a slightly more uncomfortable position where it's like, you know what? I don't need to be here full time anymore. I don't want to be here full time anymore. I am never going back full time anymore. I've already made like that in my head. I've made that decision, right? I'm going to phase down, not up at this point, right? So that doesn't mean I don't have full-time weeks every now and then, but it's not every week, and it's certainly not going to be, and it'll never be ever again.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah.
Because I technically have 2 full-time jobs, because I own all that stuff, 8 hours a day, and then I go to my day job and I work there 8 hours a day, and then I sleep sometimes. Sometimes.
What's that sleep thing? I mean, well, I sometimes I hallucinate, and I think that's when I'm sleeping, but I'm not sure.
I feel like sleep is just the space between inspirations and creativeness.
Yes, sometimes there are days I go 30 hours. I really do go. I mean that's just the way it is. And there are some days I think I'm a little older than you, which is so I have to recover from those days a lot more than I used to, right? But but I don't mind that anymore. I'm in that wonderful place where it's just like, you know what? I'm going to scale down. I don't need a lot of things in my life right now. Let's just see what happens, and we'll see where I am a year from now. And if I get to the point where my enterprises are now paying for my groceries, which, on a regular basis, and bills on a regular basis, well, then I focus more on that and less on it. And I don't mind. This kind of stuff is not work for me. Not the same way. It's work, but it's not the same kind of work. And I think you understand that.
Oh, and I was gonna say it. Like, if you wake up tired for your job, it's like, oh, I don't want to go to work. But when I wake up tired because I was up all night networking, or we were jamming, or whatever, you wake up, you're like, well, it's okay, I got to do this. Yeah, I'm tired, whatever. But you don't feel like a lack of motivation because you're doing your own stuff. You're doing you, and so it doesn't feel like, oh, God, I got to go to work.
No, you're like, ooh, yeah, it's like, what am I working on today?
Well, and people say that all the time. Oh, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And it's, those cliches are endless, but they are true. Like, when we're doing, when I'm doing film stuff, I'm having so much fun. I'm not working.
Yeah.
Yes, it's work because it's paying me money. Work, as in working for someone else. When you're working for yourself, it's not work.
No, it's not work.
It's growing. It's growth. It's exploration. It's just so different.
The biggest difference between a day job and working for yourself is discipline. That's actually the biggest difference, because what essentially you're doing is you're holding yourself accountable, and the more accountable you hold yourself, the more you can get done. So whereas when you go to a day job, you don't have to worry about it. It's not. I mean, you're there. You're collecting a check. That's.
Like, I have a very dangerous day job, and so I do care when stuff, happens that way. But the petty little stuff, oh, did you hear so-and-so? Don't care. I don't care what they said about me, man. I don't care about this at all. You can talk about me all day negatively, and I don't care.
Yeah, no.
I have this life outside of this, and that's way more important to me than what you guys are talking about.
Yep. And also, same token, when the clock is done, I don't care if the place is on fire. I won't even stop to take a piss. I'm out the door.
Well, I'm not.
You're not quite there.
I would probably piss to put it out, but
maybe. I'm just saying, look, that's effort. I don't know if I want to put that kind of effort into the place when I'm officially done. While I'm there, no problem. But the important thing that I would keep in mind, and and this is something I keep in my head while I'm there doing what I'm doing, is your work is your worship. And I'm not talking about the job. I'm talking about the day in and day out diligence you put into everything you're doing. That is an important habit to maintain. That's where a day job can be dangerous, especially right, because you're not going to put there's no way I could consciously put in the same effort that I do there that I do here, right? This is a lot more important to me than the day job is. So I'm going to be a lot more invested in this. So my challenge is, okay, while I'm at the day job, how professional can I be in the time from point A to point B? I'm not going to worry about anything else. Do the best I can while I'm here, because it's good habit for when I'm home.
Oh, it's huge. That's a huge habit, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what does a lot of people in when they go to these jobs. It's not because, again, how you work one spot is also going to be how you work when you're on your own projects. And what kills a lot of artists, and they don't even realize this, is people look at your effort. It's not about how good you are, though that is important. It's about how reliable you are. Because you're in an industry where discipline is basically your biggest form of measurement. Can you deliver what you say you're going to deliver? Are you going to do the thing you're going to do? If you can do that on a regular basis, you will always have work. You may not be the top guy, but you will always have work, because that is such a rare skill, and that's where a lot of artists in any field kill themselves.
Well, it's very true, and even because I produce as well, like movies and stuff, and I know from that from that side, I go, well, who's going to show up on time? Who's going to be there? This guy, they might not be the best, but I know this guy or girl is going to be there, and they're going to give us 110% of what they have, which we may not want all of, but they are the most reliable, and we're going to cast them first over the other person that you like, the other unknown, or the person that has the bad reputation or the bad track record. You go, well, she was really good, but I've heard some things. I know she's doesn't show up on time, yada yada. So yeah, it's true. Like if I am as disciplined as I need to be at work, then I know that will translate into, the drive and the constant, like, oh, okay, I got to go do this, I got to go to this audition, I got to write this thing, I got to apply for this grant, I got to fill this paperwork out, I got to call APTN, I need to get on. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. If you can be as disciplined at the job that doesn't matter to you, it'll translate into the job that it does matter to you.
Absolutely. Sometimes you still phone it in. Sometimes, but I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, but you recognize that going in, because, like, again, you look at the really successful people in any of these industries. Like I've interviewed some New York Times bestselling authors. I've some people that have sold millions of books. They're incredibly disciplined. They don't deviate from what got them there, and that's huge. And I realize, like, those are the habits I want to get into if I really want to be successful at what I'm doing. Because although it may not lead quite to the same doors, they're going to lead the doors. Does that make sense?
True. Yes. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
if you don't put the work in, how are you going to get to the door?
Exactly. So what are you working on right now? What aren't?
Well, I'm working on. I just and so I'm the lead singer of this band. So we're working on writing an album. We're called The Outfits at the moment. And then I'm working on a bunch of feature films. One is called Casa Nostra, which is a film noir, kind of in the same vein. Well, it is the same vein of like an Al Capone, Frank Nitti kind of story. It's a graphic novel that we've optioned into a feature film. It's from a Toronto-based writer. Yeah, it's really, really cool, and so we're just trying to get some funding for that. We're headed to Banff in June for a World Media Fest, and we're going to pitch all these movies. Working on another hockey movie called Bar Down: The Legend of Billy Buchanan, which is it's kind of a mockumentary. It's about like an outdoor hockey league, and it's kind of like a, not David versus Goliath, but it's like this league, and this guy is like just tearing it up, and the winner is always this guy. And so the promoter brings in some resistance to make the league more competitive. Billy is like this arrogant, like, I'm the best, blah blah blah. They get into they build up this big showdown, and then the weather turns. Billy is like, no, we gotta play, and the other Swedish guy is like, no, we cannot play, the weather, we don't do this. They play. Billy gets hurt, gets paralyzed, and will never play again. And so then he's this broken shell of a man. He has to go through all this soul searching. He meets this physiotherapist, changes his life. He gets into sledge hockey, becomes the best sledge hockey player there is.
So mockumentary?
Kind of. The style would be a bit mockumentary.
So like this is Spinal Tap kind of deal? No?
Not quite like.
No.
It's just like a lot of like interviews.
Oh, okay. So so the tone's actually serious. When you say mockumentary, I'm thinking like a parody, whereas this is not a parody at all. It's actually it's more autobiographical, or
kind of, but it could be satire in a way.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right? But it's kind of comedy where it's kind of, yeah.
It's okay. No, dude, it's all good, man. Like I'm just trying to get this. Like I'm trying to visualize this in my head, what's going on here, and how this is going, and it does sound interesting. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. I mean, we play hockey, so it's kind of what we know really well, So it's, for me, it's like, yeah, this is great. This is a no-brainer. I can skate like a fish swims, so.
Yeah, so it's cool. So, no, it sounds like you got a lot of exciting stuff like coming down the pike. So this has obviously been a journey. Like you said, depression got you into this, But I mean, so you've been doing this for, I imagine, for quite a while now, or or have just things been kind of falling into place that because sometimes when you do.
And that was part one of my conversation with Morgan Leblanc. I can't wait to get to part two. We talked more about his production schedule. I am amazed that he took such a negative with depression and turned it into such a positive. Morgan's done a lot of cool things, and I think I can't wait to see what he does next. Morgan's also the kind of guy I think I have a beer with. That's just my opinion. I hope he feels the same way. I had a blast with the conversation, and we'll be continuing it Thursday as long as we're revealing a new sponsor. First, I gotta talk about what happened this weekend. I'm going to talk about the smaller thing, and then I'm going to talk about the bigger thing, really cool thing. I am a featured creator on audiosources.com. So Marnie Young, for whatever reason, believes in me, and I am genuinely flattered she does. Marnie is an incredibly talented narrator. She's one of the most energetic. She's one of the happiest people I think I've met, and it was really cool. Just happened saying a wonderful thing on Twitter. It just led to a really cool friendship. So Marnie, thank you for featuring me. I'm hoping to do some unique stuff just for you for the month of June. We'll see how it goes. And guys, if you want to check it out right now, I have a little bonus podcast that's up. It's kind of, if you want to hear the story about how I accidentally got published and how I accidentally started the podcast, you should go check it out now. The other major thing that kind of happened is, for the second year in a row, I am an Aurora Award finalist. Last year I won. I don't know if I'm going to win this year. I can't say I'm as excited as the first time, because there's something really, really special about the first time. When I congratulated Vanessa Cardui, I'm hoping to have her back for the podcast when I start doing the Aurora series again. As a poet, not just a musician, although because of her skills, it doesn't surprise me. She's an amazing poet. But that'll say, I see her excitement, and I'm like, yeah, that was me a year ago. I'm still excited, but it's not the same, because it's not your first time. But at the same token, it's an honor. It really is. When I look at my category, I have Kari Moran, Edward Willett, Sam Biko, Claire Marshall, and that's a cool list of people right there alone. And every other category is loaded with amazing talent, and just to be on that list with those people is a huge honor. It really, really is. And I want to thank everybody who believed in me enough to put me on the ballot. I voted. When I saw I was there, I voted in this year, unlike last year where it was a complete surprise. But I didn't put my name in again. So whoever you are, thank you, and to everyone that believed in me, thank you. It's been an incredible year so far. Not quite halfway there, but lots of cool things have happened, and more cool things are coming, and I cannot wait to reveal them to the world. And that will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so in a number of different ways. You can check out my sponsors, Bunder & Press, bunderandpress.ca. You should check out their site. Adam Dries, 5 Critical Things is out now. Undine's Tier by Talina Winters is out now. You can get a copy of the giveaway. Definitely check out the mailing list at the bottom. Click the link, put your email in, and you are entered in for the contest. It'll be fantastic and fun, I promise. My podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podomatic. Click on it. Spread the word, pass it on. It's a growing thing, and I've been enjoying the growth, and I appreciate everybody that's done this so far. So thank you guys. Number one. Number two, my books, The Watcher, Storm Dancer, Wandering God, are available at mirrorworldpublishing.com. Check them out. Go to Amazon, Kobo, wherever other books are sold, every platform you want to get there. My books are there. Definitely check that out. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pentelarusco. I have 190 conversations there and more being added. I'm slowly catching the whole thing up. It's great. And beyond all that, guys, stay inspired. Keep doing your thing. Good things will happen to you. I promise. All right. I'll see you guys Thursday.
Josh.